there. In this video, I'm going to talk about this week's lesson plan assignment, and I'm going to mention some of the materials that are located below this video that you're watching right now. So the first thing that you will see is not this chart, but is another video that does a really nice job reviewing the different stages of language acquisition. And it does have some slightly different terms that are explained in this chart here as the materials that we use, but the students' descriptions you will probably find helpful when planning for your targeted reading lesson this week and the writing lesson for later on in week 5. So you can check that chart out. It looks like this. It's below the video that's after this one that you're watching right now. All right, so back to this week. Targeted reading lesson. All right, so for targeted reading lesson, we are doing foundational reading skills. What are those, you might ask yourself? Well, it is phonics. Yes, old school phonics, or what we like to call it nowadays, science of reading. Now, if you haven't heard of the big debate between phonics instruction and whole language instruction, or you haven't heard of science of reading, you might want to check out this podcast, Sold a Story. I'm going to include a link on this video page as well. Yeah, I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to be teaching reading to kids in the future. Anyhow, this week's lesson, phonics, science of reading type lesson, okay? It's going to be a small group lesson. And in your small group lesson, you're going to have only ELs, only ESOL kids, okay? And they're going to be the pre-emergent and emergent students. So they're like access levels, pre-emergent and emergent ELs, access levels 1.0 to 1.9. These are your lowest of the low ELs, all right? They are just learning how to communicate basic needs. They are just learning how to read in English and read letters and sounds and that sort of thing. So they're really more comfortable in their first language. All right, but you're going to be teaching them a phonics lesson in English. All right, or a foundational reading skills lesson in English. All right, and again, it's small group. Think about small group. Think about what your future classroom might look like. You're going to have kids pulled. You're going to be working with them on this small group lesson only for ELs. Meanwhile, the rest of the class, they might be doing stations. They might be doing a computer assignment or some sort of individual learning task. Okay, so back to this assignment. Okay, so this is our targeted reading instruction lesson. Okay, that's what it looks like. This is where, of course, you will get your Arizona ELP standards, and I'm going to show you how to read those in just a moment. And this is where you will find your template, and the template also has another document that you will need as well that we're going to talk about. Okay, so once you open your document, your English Language Proficiency Standards document, you want to find your Reading Foundational Standards. It's at the very beginning, after the table of contents. And this is grades 2 through 3. They all kind of look similar, except for 4th and 5th grade. But the important thing is to remember where English Language Arts is and where ELP standards are. So on the left side here, you've got your English Language Proficiency Standards, ELP. And everything in this box will be ELP. Then on the right, over here, are your English Language Arts Standards, or ELA. All right, and then of course everything in the box, this is like the coding and stuff for your ELA standards. Now, if you go on, if let's say you're doing 4th and 5th grade, there are only reading foundational skills for ELP. There's not going to be any for English Language Arts. So when you go to do the lesson plan, you don't really have to put anything for English Language Arts, and that's okay. I know that. So don't worry about that. All right, so now we're going to look at the materials that you need. Okay, so I have gone to our week 2 assignment for targeted reading lesson plan, and I have opened up a grades 2 through 3 Arizona English Language Proficiency Standards document here. And I've also opened up the University of Phoenix assignment template, excuse me. All right, and I've also opened up this hyperlink here for the English language proficiency guidance document. And this is just basically going to show you how to type everything out, okay? And I stress the standards a lot because as a classroom teacher in a public school, you're going to have administrators coming into your room and they're going to expect to see those standards. Why? Well, we know the kids don't really look at them very much. I don't even think they're aware of it. But administrators want to see that so that they know that you know what you are teaching, and they're going to want to see it. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I do stress that. So when you're finding the reading foundational standards, when you go to the table of contents, it's hyperlinked. Yay, technology. All right, so I decided I'm going to teach a lesson on long and short vowels. That sounds good. So I go to my ELP side, and of course it's over here on the left, and I'm skimming through and I am finding phonics. That looks like it's 3, and I'm going to do F, so 3F. So now how am I going to write that? So then I just click on this and I open that up, and I want to skim, and I'm going to page 13. I'm just going straight there, page 13. And I am looking at that. So of course here I have EL, and they model one here for you, but I'm gonna model one as well. I got EL, so I'm gonna go ahead and type EL. Oops, not EL, okay. All right, and then of course the grade and the band I said was 2nd through 3rd, so 2 through 3, through 3. And then I've got to put RF for reading foundational. Oops, not RG, RF. All right, so reading foundational, and it says it up here. Okay, so RF, and then I have to do the skill and the sub-skill and the verbiage. So my skill is 3 phonics, .3, and then the sub-skill I said was F, and then I'm going to type everything out. I'm going to pause while I do that, and I'm back in magic of technology and cutting and pasting. Here we go. I have it all nice and typed out, all the verbiage for you. All right. Then I need to find the ELA one, and it's not going to be exactly the same. So it's definitely not going to be 3F. Well, there isn't even a 3F, so you got to kind of read through it and kind of figure out which one it is. And for this one, it is actually, I remember correctly, 3. It is. It's 2RF 3. It is 3, but it's not F. I believe it is. Oh yeah, A. Okay. So then I'm just gonna, go through and code it like I should. So 2RF, and then apparently it's 3, and then I said it's A. Oops, not Z, A. I'm gonna pause here. And I paused it and I typed everything out. All right. So as you can see, they're similar, but they're not exactly the same. The EL ones they give you a little bit more details. Okay. All right, so I hope that you find that these videos this week and the chart to be helpful for you, and also throughout this course. And as always, you can either message me or the class with any questions that you might have. And of course, have a great week.